Welcome to Soulciété, the shift, the triage, the movement. May you live your truth. Live from Los Angeles, this is Dr. Erin. We come together each day to know the truth, live on spiritual principle, and align with universal law. We also come together in a community, Soulciété. We are the #1 spiritual coaching community committed to enlightenment, empowerment, and entrepreneurship. We truly believe that somebody, when they awaken, they have a gift and message to bring to the world. And our mission is to awaken 1 billion people globally. Yes. So today we're going to talk about the truth of transition. This might be a little bit controversial for some people, but it is heavy on the consciousness. So today, I flew back into Los Angeles. I was over in Arizona visiting my son and his girlfriend, had a beautiful weekend, and found out the news that Kobe Bryant and his daughter died in a helicopter crash over the weekend. And it's been heavy on so many people's mind, been heavy in social media. And I was flying back into Los Angeles, and I could really, really feel the heaviness of everyone, and I wanted to address it. So what happened was I had a client friend call me and ask, what was my perspective on it, and did, Kobe Bryant choose this or not, and what were my thoughts on this? And so I thought, it's indicated to have this conversation as a culture, as spiritual coaches, and diving deep into it. So I'm going to speak about it from many different levels, many different layers right now. So the truth of transition, from a truth perspective, obviously, we are eternal, we are immortal from a spiritual perspective, and we are, in this human experience, having this thing called birth and death in this one lifetime. We know that obviously we have many lives, even from our children, or whether you want to call it past lives, and ancestors, whatever you want to say. The truth is that there is memory that lives on, and from even epigenetics perspectives, scientific perspectives, and obviously from a spiritual perspective. So knowing this, I just want to first send out my condolences to everybody that's grieving, to Kobe Bryant's family, and all the people that he touched, so many millions and millions of lives. Obviously, he was an icon for many people, and just knowing that grief is real, and that I honor wherever people are in their consciousness. This is not to make anyone wrong around grieving or anything. This is maybe to just give some answers and help other people out there. Because I know, look, we all deal with people in our lives that we love transitioning. We deal with people dying and death and funerals and people getting sick and ill. And so we might as well have this conversation. Okay. So my client called up and asked, so from a spiritual perspective, did they choose to, get in a helicopter accident? Did they choose to transition? And this is, from a spiritual perspective, there's basically, you need to recognize that the individual consciousness is not just the individual. They are the collective and they're the cosmic, okay? So from an individual perspective, it can be one of two things. One is, yes, they always choose it from a subconscious perspective, from a spiritual perspective, in that it can either be that they really have completed what they came to complete in this lifetime, and they literally choose at a very specific soul level that they are ready to go on to, the next masterclass, if you will. It can also be that they have trauma and commands that are playing out repetitively in their cycle of this lifetime and past lifetimes. For example, someone may have the command that goes something like this. Every time everything's going great, shit hits the fan or whatever, right? Just when things are going well, everything's taken away, okay? This can be a command that can go in someone's lineage, meaning that in past lives, they may have been in wars or things where, people died around them. They lost their castle. They lost their people. Whatever. It is a trauma that can play out in multiple lifetimes in different outpicturing. What does that mean exactly? If you go back to my other podcast, you will learn about how in trauma we program through high states of negative states backed by limited beliefs and backed by commands. We basically declare lies into our subconscious that play out and outpicture over and over again. So generally, when I've worked with clients, they have very similar things that happen over and over in multiple lifetimes. And it's interesting because when I was over in Arizona this weekend, my son's girlfriend was reading Many Lives, Many Masters. And look, even science is beginning to recognize that there is a memory that is being, that lives in us. It's in our DNA. It's in what they're calling epigenetics, the study of this, okay? So the point is that did Kobe Bryant have a command that said, something to the effect of just when things are going well, it's all taken away? We don't know, right? It's at his soul level. It may also have been that he just really has completed his cycle here, right? From a collective consciousness level, we have to realize that karma is really the cause and effect of what we've created. So the cause and effect is we've created these things called a helicopter that are risky, right? And if you, cause and effect of the pilot don't maneuver correctly, a helicopter crashes, okay? So some of you may be like, oh yes, he definitely chose this on a spiritual level. Some people may be like, that's so offensive. I can't believe you said that. Other people may really get that it can literally be a cause and effect of collective cause and effect of us creating the things called helicopters and crashing, right? From a cosmic consciousness perspective, we have to understand there's energies that are tied to the cosmos, hence astrologers and things like that. But here's the deal. From a spiritual perspective, our greatest mastery in this lifetime is to overcome our patterns and create something new. So if you do a lot of your inner work and a lot of spiritual awakening, you will no longer be necessarily the effect of your lineage, of your commands that happened and trauma that happened in the past lives. You will no longer be the effect of the cosmic consciousness. You'll be able to actually override something like a crash happening in a helicopter. It's possible, okay? That's a very, very advanced consciousness. I'm not saying someone's better or worse. It's just that they've mastered and been able to do miracles on this planet, okay? Third level, cosmic consciousness. The reason why when astrologers give me readings every single time, it's never correct. And the reason why is because I'm constantly moving past patterning, right? So a lot of the people that are just like, oh, here's my astrology reading, therefore that's my destiny. That's because you're not creating past the patterning of the consciousness of where you've been born in your DNA. You can move past this patterning. So back to transitioning, okay? If somebody is transitioned, okay, whether it be they are dying of natural causes, quote, natural causes later in life, or whether they have had a traumatic, tragic accident like Kobe Bryant and his daughter, the truth from a spiritual perspective is it is always chosen at a spiritual level. And it is always chosen at a spiritual level, okay? Because even if you're dying of quote, natural causes as you get older, the truth is that science has proven that cells can keep living. So we have chosen it at some level in consciousness in the collective that we are, creating this thing called dying, okay? It has benefits, right? The benefit is that it now condenses this thing called life. It makes it more valuable. If we're going to live for eternally and be immortal, we wouldn't have as much value on time. We wouldn't have much value on our loved ones. We don't have as much value on this body. It is a beautiful blessing that we have this thing called quote, death from a human perspective, okay? That does not mean that we want, somebody to have a tragic accident. That means that we look at it from a spiritual perspective of recognizing the incredible life that Kobe Bryant lived, the incredible ability to master his profession and what he was able to do. And I'm getting chills right now, okay? Someone else had texted me when they first found out that Kobe Bryant had passed away, and they said, what a shame, all that work, everything, and just gone, poof. He never even got to enjoy his life. He was working the whole time. And I thought, Obviously, Kobe Bryant loved his life. He loved his hustle. He loved his mastery. Otherwise, he wouldn't be doing it. He wasn't doing it so that he could get some medal and then one day actually enjoy his life, right? Clearly, he enjoyed his life. So again, I really acknowledge the grieving. And so this brings up the next point. When should we grieve versus when should we celebrate someone's transition, right? So the point is that wherever you're at, whether it feels right to grieve or whether it feels right to celebrate, is what the answer is. You have a specific truth, okay? What I invite people to think about is that don't think other people need to grieve, or don't think everyone should celebrate if you want to celebrate, or everyone should grieve if you're grieving, okay? People perceive transition. People perceive death differently. People perceive life, right? And somehow we think that if someone's lived until they're old, that it's okay and that it should be a celebration versus if they have a tragic death. That is a perspective, and it doesn't mean it's truth. It means it's your truth. And I honor where everyone's at, okay? Today, I celebrate Kobe Bryant's life. I celebrate his daughter's life. I celebrate every single person that has had a natural cause of death or whether they've had a traumatic death, okay? Having a stillborn and holding my baby's, body in my arms and knowing he was gone, I recognize that we're not these bodies. I recognize that we really are eternal, immortal, spiritual beings. Having a human experience with the good, the bad, the trauma, the tragic deaths and the beautiful dying and so on and so forth. I recognize that it's this incredible thing called life. And it's so precious in this form. I'll never forget one of my greatest mentors. He basically chose to transition. He had bone cancer and he had gone through chemo multiple times, and he came to a point where he had to decide if he was going to keep doing the chemo or whether he was going to transition. And he chose to transition. And so it began the process of him transitioning, which was about a 2-week process. And watching him go through that was one of the most beautiful experiences I had ever witnessed. It was so intense. And what was one of the most intense aspects for me witnessing it was watching him having to say goodbye to himself in this form. So whether you believe that you keep your identity in your consciousness or not, my truth is that we are one, that we literally go on into the one spirit and take form in all of it. I believe that I am you, you are me. I believe that we're Kobe and his daughter and all of it, that we're experiencing every last drop of it. And so just witnessing my mentor transitioning and witnessing him having to say goodbye to himself was such a profound moment for me, realizing that we have to really enjoy every moment. We never know when something's going to happen from a logical perspective, okay? From a subconscious perspective and spiritual perspective, we know. Everyone knows, okay? And so as I flew back in today into Los Angeles, and I could feel the consciousness. I could feel the heaviness. I could feel the sadness. I could feel people wanting to commit suicide today. Quite frankly, I felt the deep, deep, dark emotions that are hanging over Los Angeles right now. And I want to recognize that I acknowledge that, and I recognize that those emotions are hopefully what's teaching us that life is precious. And that if you're listening to this right now, and if you're not living a life that you fucking love, then please don't wait another minute. Please don't wait another minute to love and to live your life fully. If there's one thing to learn from all this, from Kobe and his daughter's tragic death in a helicopter, is that life can go on instantaneously, okay? Whether he chose it or didn't choose it from a subconscious spiritual level or not. And same with the other people in the helicopter. The reality is this, is that we've got to live. You've got to live your truth, and you've got to do everything to live full out, okay? This is such a blessing, such a miracle. You are such a miracle if you think about it. All the trillions of cells coming together for you to have this experience and this human experience. It is so beautiful. And I send my condolences out there for Kobe's family, for all of his fans, for everybody. And I know so many people are dealing with loved ones that they love, transitioning. And so I just say, let us know the truth together. Taking a deep breath into the nose and exhaling out. I recognize eternal life. I recognize the one spirit that we all are. And I recognize the connection of the heart and mind. And I just say, please live your life. The greatest gift you can give me, you can give anyone, you can give your loved ones, everything is to live fully. Have that profound expression of you. We want to see you shoot for the stars. We want to see you create that piece of art. We want to see you laugh like you've never laughed before. We want to see you expressing however you need to be expressed. And in that, I recognize true love, which is one love, which is only from Source. And I recognize eternal life, eternal love as one family, as brothers and sisters. We are always connected. And so I simply know peace, love, and that the truth will set us free. Have a beautiful day, you guys. May you live your truth. Thank you for tuning in to Soulciété and Dr. Erin podcast. If you've had a calling to be a spiritual leader or coach, you can go to soulciété.com and check out our free training. If you've received value here, I would love it if you take a moment and give a 5-star review. In exchange, I have a ton of free gifts for you. Grab your free Awakening book, 40 guided meditations, and digital manifesting masterclass. I also have a free money meditation and worksheet for you so you can begin to break through your scarcity mindset and claim your birthright of prosperity. You can get all of your gifts and learn about our upcoming transformational events in my bio link in both Instagram and Facebook. That's under drerin.tv, which is DRERIN.tv. Also, I'd love to invite you into our free private community on Facebook under groups called Soulciété. That is facebook.com/groups/Soulciété. That's SOULCIETE. Have a divine day and may you live your truth.